This is of 3 minutes ago. So before
Ooh.
the podcast, I did not hear he has now scheduled a visit with the Steelers today.
Today's the 5th. Yeah, Wednesday.
Today. Oh, Wednesday. Next week. Wednesday.
Interesting. Now there's a little breaking news for the pod. Now there we go. Now we're talking.
That's a big one. That's a big one. The Asante Samuel Jr. coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers is a big one. Okay, let's break that down. I think that's significant enough to talk about here.
Huge.
You can't miss on that. Am I wrong? No. You can't miss on Asante Samuel Jr. I think he is the perfect piece for the Steelers defense and what they are looking for right now. It allows Jalen Ramsey to remain at safety. I think we said this yesterday. It allows Brandon Echols to fill in on the outside, taking Slay off the field a little bit more. You have much less worry about guys moving around. I think simplicity is key right now. You can move Jalen Ramsey around the defense all you want, but at the same time, you should be, hey, this is our group of guys, okay? And yeah, Jalen's going to move 7 times a game, but the other 39 snaps, he's going to be at safety, and I think that's the perfect way to go about the defense. And I think Asante Samuel Jr. is a must grab for the Steelers.
A must grab, dude. A must grab. This is, I won't use the word perfect. There's a lot of questions, right? He's coming off of a very serious injury. Glad that he has recovered. Glad his NFL career can continue. The Steelers have loved this player for several years coming out of college. They love the NFL pedigree. They love the lineage. They love what he brings in coverage and in run defense. You're bang on. It allows Ramsey to occupy the free safety position more. Now, will he stay there all season? I would love to see that, honestly. Don't know what the plans are. Having a player like Asante Samuel gives you the resources and flexibility to do that. And most importantly, it kicks Darius Slay off the field. And I think Darius Slay coming on as, you're in a James Pierre-like role, we're going to love Darius Slay again. We're going to be like, oh, this is great. He's a veteran past his prime. His usage needs to be tampered down. He's not a useless player. His just usage has been wrong and overutilized. And so I think bringing in a player like Asante Samuel Jr. really will allow the depth chart to shake out for the cornerbacks in a much better way. And maybe, just maybe, the secondary can make a bit of progress and their passing defense can follow suit. So absolutely a can't miss. Doesn't solve the offensive issues, right? But I think it takes a lot less pressure off of the offense if the defense is making another attempt at figuring things out. And that clearly is where the bigger issues remain, as we've talked about today for the last couple of weeks. The defensive side of the ball is where they have to improve first and foremost. And so I think this is, again, a can't miss move because of that.
Look, if the Steelers sign Asante Samuel Jr. and they get Kyle Duggar, I'm going to chalk up the trade deadline as a win.
Fair.
You didn't get your wide receiver 2. I understand, but you went 2 for 3 on things that you needed. You needed to replace Deshaun Elliott and you needed to replace Darius. 2 for 3. And honestly, that's all you could ask for at the midway point of the season. Doesn't mean that they're now officially Super Bowl big. They're going to beat everybody contenders. No, but it means that you went into the trade deadline and you made a move that could give you an opportunity to do that. And just to be fair to the Steelers, I would say that's enough to say you did your part. Is it going to work? We don't know, but you did your part. I would chalk it up to a win.
Well, and I think what comes into play there more is, and I think a lot of I was kind of surprised how many people didn't think the Steelers' performance or lack of activity at the trade deadline was the right move. I genuinely was surprised. And I think a lot of people whose opinions I look to and greatly value and respect, I just disagreed with their take on the deadline. So that in mind, if you can then remove from it, say, oh, what they actually did at the deadline, although it didn't happen in the 7 or 8 hours preceding the actual 4 p.m. deadline, was add another 2 players to their secondary in an attempt to try to fix their really poor passing defense.
Yep.
That makes a ton of sense. And it also kind of takes away some of the criticism from overspending on wide receivers, right? Then you can get into the situation of well, they didn't really want to overspend on Jacoby Myers because that they didn't think it was worth it. They didn't want to give up that extra pick for Rashid Shaheed. Again, I don't agree with it in the grand scheme of things, but if you're telling me that that happened coupled with they were able to add a couple pieces to their secondary, I'm suddenly a lot less critical of what they did at the deadline and why they did what they did at the deadline.
Agreed. 100% agreed. We'll see if it happens. Wednesday is a long ways away. A long ways away. A lot could happen.